Hello, everybody. This is Albert Corey from Corey and Associates Accounting Services and Small Business Coaching. Please like and share. And if you have any questions or comments, if you could put it below. And in our next video, we will answer the questions. This is a service I put on at least once or twice a day to answer all your small business and accounting questions. Today, I got something a little different that I'm going to talk about how my story. It's a story that I'm sure everybody can relate to. I know that after studying people like Grant Cardone, Tony Robinson, Les Brown, and almost everybody was successful in the business world, Ford, the dudes at Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, everybody who was a founder who built a business in the world, all had to be perseverance and had their ups and downs. Well, this is my story, and I'm sure all of you can relate to it. I was born in Massachusetts. To my parents, Joe and Teresa, who came from Lebanon. My father came from Lebanon through Australia, and he kept moving and moving to end up in Massachusetts. Who met my mother? She was a hairdresser, and my father met her like 3 days before she was going to get deported. I was like the second kid, always fat and chubby, always, even when I was a little kid, we moved to Miami, and I was always picked on, named. I was probably bullied in high school before the word bully was ever invented. Same thing happened to college. I got picked on, more than anything else, but it wasn't known. If I ever said something to my parents, my dad, he would say, go take a stick and hit him over the head. And then I just barely got through school. It's so funny. I had a friend of mine who told me I always found a way to make it happen. I probably went through high school the worst time, where if you just fill out a little sheet, they gave you grades. So I never learned anything, have horrible writing skills, but somehow I made it. Got through high school, got through college. When I went to go try to get a job, nobody would hire me. Hell, even when I was working H&R Block and I was working for 6 years, they said, I wasn't good enough. Fine. Today I have, 10 people who work for us, and 6 preparers, and, we work hard. My dad used to tell me when I bought my first computer back in 85, he goes, why are you buying that? You know what? I can't use the words, but I took my whole check from H&R Block. Okay, I took my whole check and I bought a computer. Now, this was 1985. It cost me $5,000. And back then, I had these big old XT box. Okay, and I had a vision that says you have to do everything on a computer. And I was going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So I had this big computer. I was the first ones to do tax returns on a computer. Back in 85, it was never heard of. And then in 1995, I then started getting into this thing called pagers. Well, beepers and pagers probably, that's a dead technology, but somebody told me, one of my customers, Oscar, says, hey, guess what? Albert, come on, there's this awesome new thing called pagers that people can get a hold of you. You hit a number, it goes beep, 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 and they can get a hold of you. Well, the biggest joke was everything I did was always, I was go big or go home. So I got into these pagers with 10 pagers I bought from this guy from my last $1,000 I had. I mean, I was still doing a few tax returns and I had a store, and I bought 5, I went and bought what it would have been $1,000 worth of pagers, which was brand new technology. I took a chance, and at the end, we had up to 3,000 pagers online. I was the biggest guy in the planet when I was doing it. Running theme, go big or go home. So the next thing I started doing is like little stuff like internet marketing, and I kept building and building. I was always picked on even before. Then I got married. A funny story about getting married was, some people go on vacation. I went to Australia and bring back souvenir cups. I ended up bringing back a wife. See, it's like, I just go out and do stuff. All right. That's probably the point of the story. I've gotten knocked down, picked on. Almost everything could happen to me, but somehow I managed to always go out and build and get things going. Yeah. And that's the name of the game here. Perseverance. I've always persevered. And when I graduated from University of South Florida in 1982, there was no jobs, nothing out there. The only thing I could do was start working with my parents. We had motels and stuff, but I was like the guy who cleaned the rooms, and I learned how to do handyman stuff. But thank God that ended up happening because I learned how to go out and figure stuff out. And that's kind of what you do. That's the story of my dream, that I was always never quitting, always persevered. Even when I got knocked down, whether it was in high school, beepers, I had a comic book store. We had the largest comic book store in town, and I always went go big or go home. So that's what I'm trying to show you guys in a short little video. I was always go big or go home. No matter what I do, I always go big or go home. And that's always the story of me. Bottom line is you got to go big and go home. If you have any questions or comments about how you started your business or your story to success, please put the comments below and share it to the world. Not everybody was born with a silver spoon. We always had to, you always learn to grow. You have to grow, and you always get 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 4 steps back, and you take your 2-step point line as you always keep going. And I had plenty of failures, but I didn't stop. That's the name of the game. So that's the moral of the story is perseverance will always get you there. It doesn't matter what people think of you. It doesn't matter if you're fat, skinny, short, white, green, or blue. You just got to keep rocking and rolling, baby. And that's the theory. Please put any comments that you think below. And we would appreciate any comments that you have and any questions. We'll get it on our next video. One question that were asked to me, in fact, today is, hey, Albert, how can I deduct going out to eat with my family? As a business defense. They have a small little business. And the question is if you're out there talking about your business, okay, then that would be a tax deduction when you go out to dinner. Using your cell phone, if you use another little question that came up, if you use your cell phone and you answer it like in my office, if you called me on my cell phone and I answer Corey & Associates, can I help you? Then that would be a tax deduction. So any questions or comments, please leave them below and we'll get back to you, on our next video. Thank you and have a good day.